VMNHockey.tv is Between Periods, along with Minnesota Hockey Connections' Jerry Burrow. I'm Pete Wagner from 3M Arena at Mariucci. The Red Knights come up with 3 goals in the second period, and one of the things that the coaching staff told me that I'm sitting next to here was that, we asked for shots and they got them. And I think that was the thing you and I spoke about. The defensemen were much more engaged, but the forwards were very good. But beyond all of that, this is a highly skilled, entertaining hockey game, isn't it? I mean, Joe Miller is absolutely a dream.
This is what the game's going to come down to, is the key players, the top players on both teams. On that second period, Benil's third line was excellent, just excellent out there. I mean, they might tire that Blake team out because the number one line with Joe Miller, they were out there a lot, long shift, but they were long shifts too.
And long shifts.
But I think they're high school kids. It could be the last period of their high school career for some of these players. It doesn't matter. This third period, with the crowd coming in from the Chaska and EP, and you can see the electricity's in the whole audience and everything.
Yeah.
And it's just the game's getting excited. But both goalies sometimes, woo.
Well, I mean, do you blame him? I mean,
No.
Carson Limesand's faced 19 shots so far, and he's had a lot of stuff from far out. He's had some weird shallow angle shots by Joe Miller, like one of those, like, well, how did that happen? How did that get on? Right. Those kinds of things. Miller has been incredible. But a player that's been really good, 2 players for Benilde St. Margaret's, has been Messenberg. He sniped their second goal.
Right.
That was really a terrific piece of work there. But he's playing really well. Yakish is playing well as well for them. Svendahl's looking really good for Blake.
They got 2 goals off their third line.
Well, and so there's no discerning. It's 1-2-3, 1-2-3. It's none of this 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 1-2-3 stuff.
If they're playing that good, you got to keep it going. You got to keep it going.
They're physical. Having Bischel back in the lineup is making a big deal for them, and he's playing well. Asher Conley on the second line has been playing great with Marshall and Ellings as well. Logan Lake has had a couple of nice stuff in front with the deflections, but I feel like there was a shift that I recall in the second period where the Red Knights were in the offensive zone. They're starting to cycle through to a second shift, but they were cycling the puck the way they wanted to, and they had possession, and they were forcing Blake to chase a little bit. That's been a little bit of what this game's been about. It's been a little bit more of the size, I think, and the physicality of Benilde versus the skill and speed of Blake. When Blake gets it, they open it up.
Right. But that first line, I mean, they're fun to watch. And look at their power play. Benilde does not want to go in the box in the third period because
3, and they're fortunately 3 for 3 for them.
And I'll tell you what, Blake had great opportunities in every power play. They should have scored on everyone. Was
not the best PK guy out there?
Right. And I tell you what, they had a lot of chances, and they controlled that puck on the power play.
The Red Knight power play is very good, and they had their 1-for-1 on theirs definitely stood out there. The interesting thing here, Jerry, is you look at these two teams. Whenever I get to the section finals, I always say, are they not state tournament worthy, because everybody is when they're in this, but are they contender worthy? And the way these two teams are playing right now, it's a resounding yes.
Yeah, I was telling my partner over here, right in the middle of the second period, I said that number 14 for Benilde has to get going. He has to start causing some problems for them, He has to pinch a little bit. He has to make smart decisions.
Nate Schweitzer has the ability to be the best player on the ice, question.
And right away, he caused a penalty. He caused a penalty right then when I said that. And then all of a sudden, he's a main player, but I think on both teams, it's going to come down to their top players in this third period. I think Gay and Marshall, Gay picked it up this second period. He's starting to hit
really
now.
Good.
He's starting to hit now, which causes a lot of problems for Blake. And Marshall, he has to just make some smarter plays, because sometimes he makes passes without looking and it's
maybe a little quicker. So from the Cooper Gay perspective, he had a situation where he turned it up ice with his size, speed, and skating ability, turned it into a 2-on-1, and then he was on a partial breakaway, end of the shift, ran out of gas, and he knew he was going to not have a shooting angle, tried to go inside, but that didn't work. But those are the kinds of things, and those are the kinds of players each of these teams are going to need to find another level and find another gear.
And I think Blake just continuing what they're doing, and I tell you what, like I said, Benell has to stay out of the box because Joey Miller and that power play, they move that puck great on that power play.
I'm not seeing a lot of holes in Blake's game at all.
So just keep on doing what they're doing.
So credit the Red Knights for pushing back the way they need to. Their skill players and their third liners, second, everybody's executing, which is what you want. And if you're Blake, you just don't change. You just got to keep doing what you're doing. You fired 19 shots on goal. You got a 19-9 shot advantage. If you get another power play, you're not going 0 for 4.
Right. And even Benell, they picked it up too, or they got some, like you said, get pucks to the net and get bodies to the net. Simple game.
Great stuff, this between period recap. Most people have to pay for this kind of information. Just saying. We'll have a post-game recap coming up for you here from the 3M Arena at Mariucci. The Red Knights lead the Blake Bears 3-2 after 2. We'll have more coming up from the MNHockey.tv.